Now, thankfully, today was supposed to be a big step forward for getting back to normal post-COVID. International tourists were allowed into the country without quarantine for the first time from today. And in the biggest state in the country, in New South Wales, work from home rules are now finished. Kids are back at school, and from today, the paranoid twice-weekly rapid antigen tests were scrapped, while the use of QR codes was largely eliminated last week, actually, and the silly mask rules for indoors are still in place, but only till Friday, thank Lord. So life in New South Wales from today was getting back to a lot more like normal. It was looking a lot more sensible. But would you believe this? The trains were all out today, all out in New South Wales at just a moment's notice. The unions are in a dispute with the government. They pulled some industrial action, not a full strike to be sure, but nonetheless the rail authorities said the trains just couldn't run under those conditions. You can imagine the chaos and the hardship for so many people stuck without a way to get to work or get to school, or even for shift workers stuck without a way to get home. Now, last week, of course, we saw a nurses' strike. Nurses were striking in New South Wales for more pay and better staffing, striking during a pandemic. And last night, the teachers' union was arcing up about COVID rules disappearing. Can you believe it? They want to keep the rules, keep the COVID paranoia.
There's no doubt that the rapid antigen tests proved to be a very effective line of defence keeping our schools safer. We're appealing to all parents. Maintain vigilance when it comes to the use of rapid antigen tests. Masks provide important protection in the spread of the virus. We've got to maintain these settings. You can't lift all the settings at once.
Masks and kids and rapid antigen tests. I told you a couple of weeks ago we'll have a glut of rapid antigen tests soon. You know, Labor and all the media were going nuts. We haven't got enough rats. Well, there's already a glut. People have got cupboards full of them. South Australia's saying they've got a glut of them. They were only going to be necessary. People went nuts over them for a few weeks. Now they're just, largely pointless. Use them now and then if you want to get somewhere special. The thing is with all this union activity is that, of course, we appreciate the jobs done by teachers, nurses especially, and train drivers. We always do. And we've also got to always support their right to negotiate en masse for higher wages. But remember this, over the past 2 years, their jobs haven't been under threat. They've not lost a cent, nor have they had to worry about the possibility of losing a cent. They've had secure, paid employment, which especially in the first year of the pandemic was at a premium. Many other Australians have had the opposite, uncertainty and disruption. Over the past 2 years, lots of people have not been able to work. Many have lost their jobs, especially, of course, casual workers. Many small business people had to shut their doors and fret over their life's work disappearing. Governments have borrowed more than ever from future generations to keep people afloat. People have waited for elective surgery, sometimes in great pain. Parents did their jobs from home and supervised their kids' homeschooling at the same time. So industrial action and strikes pulled on now while we're trying to get back to normal, it's just not on. It shows a disregard for your fellow citizens. It shows a tin ear when it comes to what the pandemic disruption has meant to other Australians, your fellow Australians. Take industrial action now and your self-interest and belligerence is on display, not to mention a healthy dose of political bloody-mindedness aimed at making life difficult for non-Labor governments. The tactics are as transparent as they are disgraceful.